This piece comes from episode 11 of the Atonic Voodoo Lounge and features a wayward Saint Nick. Reality bends easily in the worlds built by Alexander Petrow. Even Christmas can go sideways. This piece comes from his unfinished novel, The Flying Country, set on a cold and lonely road where three uneasy travelers share a ride, and one of them just happens to be a wayward St. Nicholas, who has quietly gone missing from myth and ended up in a Chevy Malibu, cruising south from New England. It's a strange Christmas story, but it is a Christmas story all the same. The three of them had traveled together from New York, but they hadn't exchanged many words. Nick and one of the hitchhikers, Harry, were both very quiet, and the second hitchhiker, Larry, his attempts to make conversation ended up with him tiring of his own monologue and finally giving up. Nick was driving his Chevy down from New England. Harry and Larry were hitchhiking in New York when he picked them up. "I just need to see the Peachoid. I just insist," said Larry with a smile, breaking the several hours of silence in the car. "Listen," Nick's voice sounded somewhat sharp and made both passengers look up at him. Harry, who was sitting in the front seat next to him, and Larry, who was on his phone reading up about a landmark from the list he had marked down on some website. "We can stop with this theater now. I know who you are. You know who I am. I also know why you are here, and I can tell you now that you don't need to be." The two looked at each other. Harry didn't say anything, and Larry just smiled. "Nick," he shrugged, "I just was saying I want to see the Peachoid. Come on." "Okay." Larry shut his mouth and continued reading on his phone. "That was just a short outburst, a release of nervous tension from my bones, if you will. Nothing more," Nick continued. "It can happen to anyone." "Look," said Larry, "the Peachoid is 135 feet high." He continued, but Nick persisted. "I am now in absolute control of my emotions and reactions. I'm not proud of the carnage, but every single one of them deserved their fate. Every single one. And holds 1 million gallons of water. Enough with the Peachoid. What the hell is the fucking Peachoid anyway?" Nick shouted. "The water tower in Gaffney, South Carolina, made in the shape of a peach. I thought you were in control of your emotions." "I'm a little tense. I'm sorry about that, but the two of you get on my nerves. I don't need supervisors. I'm not a child. And if a man kills a few racist alien cannibal demons who invaded Earth, he immediately gets fucking supervisors breathing down his neck." "First of all," Harry finally spoke from the front seat, "you're not a man. You haven't been a man for a long time. Secondly, when you, all of the saints, decide to sow death and carnage, you definitely attract the attention of the boss and even God." Those few words caught Nick's attention, and he turned and looked at Harry, somewhat surprised, a question brewing in his head. "We had to check if you were okay," Harry went on, "and to tell you the truth, you seem a little off to me. But that's not entirely why we're here. And thirdly," Harry said after a short pause, "you haven't been to hell in a long time. Yes, the boss is back now, and we're not here to bother you. There's been a change in priorities. So we're not here to bother you. We're here to make sure you're okay." "Huh? What of all the things I just said is not clear? Where do I begin with the unclear? Wherever you like. Guys, said Larry from the back seat, why don't we stop somewhere to have a bite, And we'll get Nick introduced to the plan. The diner was not far from the road, and the headlights of the cars in the distance looked like little fireflies, moving in a perfectly straight line against the dark blue twilight that took over the horizon after sunset. They were drinking coffee and eating hamburgers, except for Nick, who had a ham sandwich. Larry turned to Nick. Didn't you used to have, like, a big beard? I shaved it. And you've lost a lot of weight, man. Larry pointed at Nick with his hamburger. Can't say you don't look good. Don't get me wrong, you do. You know, for a teenage pop star icon. But that's not who you are. You look pale, skinny, and to be honest, not so healthy. You've been starving yourself? I can't really eat these days. I lost my appetite. You seem depressed, man. Not good. But, I wanted to ask you, what is this business with the Bible? Why are you reading the Bible when, I am a bishop after all. Well, I was a bishop. I had to follow the traditions, give them the last rites. But that doesn't make sense, Nick. I know, he shrugged. I do it in case there are supervisors around. Nope. Still no sense. Okay. Following traditions calms me. That's it. Uh-huh. Why didn't you just say so then? Asked Larry. But what you read to them wasn't the last rites, was it? I don't like them. I told you I was doing it for me, not for them. I don't give a shit about their sins. Huh? Nick, you must be holding a lot of anger inside. It all comes from my childhood, I guess. Maybe try decaf or something. But that's not quite the truth either, is it? And what did you read to them, if it's not a secret? Nick reached into his coat pocket, pulled out a small Bible, and put it on the table. Or at least something that was put into the binding of a Bible, with a cross and the word Bible on the front cover. Larry reached out and opened it. Chevrolet Malibu's owner manual? Nick just shrugged again. Nick, Larry started extra carefully, in a voice you'd use to try to persuade a kid playing with a loaded AK-47 to give it to you slowly. You really do have OCD, don't you? The boss was right? Maybe I do, replied Nick and stared at his shoes under the table. Man, what have they done to you in that clinic in Switzerland? 3 of them kept silent for a second. And why aren't you using a real Bible? Larry asked very carefully. Burns in my hands every time. Hence us being here, said Harry, who traditionally spoke rarely. I mean, that's why we are here. We need to get you back on track. Nick, you are a philanthropic saint. Your hatred and anger led to this. This is why we'll take care of your business. We will finish what you have started because it is useful, yes, but you must stop doing what you are doing because you are contributing to the imbalance and chaos. Since the boss returned, balance has been a very important priority. This chaos and aggression, they don't lead to anything good. But they must not continue to live either, Nick shouted. No, they must not. Nick, take a deep breath. I never thought I'd be an anger management therapist for saints. Larry sighed and smiled melancholically. Are you demons from heaven or from hell? Asked Nick. Nick, look. Nick, you've been wandering around the world for a long time, not doing your job, only seeking revenge. We know very well that incident wasn't your first. No need to lie. It's not your job taking care of those alien demons. We, the local demons, should be taking care of that. You've detached yourself from everything. Things have changed in our line of business, and you need to catch up. We now work for both sides, Nick. Fucking hell. Fucking that, yeah. But also fucking heaven, too. First and foremost, I believe, what you need is a break. I need a break? I'm killing them so I won't be killing humans. You know that. And sometimes I really feel like... Nick shut up and looked out through the window. That's right, Nick. But you haven't done your job for ages. Children are getting gifts from their parents who lie to them that they were from you. Everyone stopped believing in you. Yes, that annoys me. Don't you feel you are closing the aggression and anger circle? You're angry and you're doing things that aren't your business. You're not doing your job. People don't believe in you, which just makes you angrier, said Harry in that very, 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 very calm voice that only he could pull off. We'll take care of you. We'll take care of that business for you. Don't worry about it. Larry eyed him questioningly, and Harry just shrugged, then looked back at Nick with his calm expression and Mona Lisa smile. This year, you will hardly be able to return to your duties, but next year, or in 2-3 years, it'd be great if children finally receive their presents on Noel evening from you, wouldn't it? This is bullshit, said Nick. Excuse me? This Noel evening nonsense. This is bullshit. How do you think you go around the world in one night and give presents to all the children? Well, all the good children. No, nonsense. Millions of children, a whole globe. I bring them gifts all year round, small, unnoticeable gifts. A coin here, a doll there, a bag of candy somewhere. That's how I work. Wonderful, Larry exclaimed. So you'll be able to calmly return to your duties without the pressure of deadlines, won't you? I guess so. Nick looked again at his shoes, then added, Does this mean my trip to Florida is canceled? Yes, it does. But hey, how about we see that peachoid? Suggested Larry. What's with you and that peachoid? Nick asked. We've got some work to do in this direction, and I really want to see that peachoid. If you'd like to explore more of Alexander Petrow's worlds and atmosphere, you can read his complete and free novel, The Weather Forecast in Hell, on his Substack at alexanderpetrow.substack.com. Petrow is spelled Petrow. This excerpt was included in episode 11 of the Atonic Voodoo Lounge Podcast. If you liked what you heard, please visit atomicvoodoolounge.com or search the Atonic Voodoo Lounge on your favorite podcast app or service. Thanks for listening, and please spread the word about the Atonic Voodoo Lounge's mix of speculative noir poetry, fiction, and spoken word. In addition to the words, the AVL also has the beat. We play a variety of mood-inducing music, including surf, exotica, jazz, blues, and more. Copyright 2025 by Heavy Sixer Productions, LLC. All rights reserved. Thanks for listening.